In this video, I'm going to be doing a review of Creed 3, the third film in the series. Now, out of all the sports, no sport makes for a better movie than boxing. There's a lot of great story beats you can tell, have some great fight scenes, tell a true underdog story. You can do a lot of stuff with it. And the Creed movies were able to play off the legacy of the Rocky films while still establishing a legacy, tone, style of their own with a great main character. It's a role that made Michael B. Jordan a real Hollywood superstar. It was a great role for him. He was fantastic. And more importantly, the movies were good. In this film, Adonis Creed finds himself in a new phase of his life, professionally and at home. But after an old friend from his past unexpectedly re-enters his life, things begin to change and Creed must eventually settle the situation in the only way he knows how to. Now, something very interesting about this film and the marketing for the film itself was its tie-in to the Rocky films. The first two films really mined the legacy of the Rocky films and Rocky himself. The first film, the big thing is that Rocky's mentoring Adonis Creed to become like the boxer and sort of the champion he wants to be. And the second film plays off the conflict with Drago. So yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff from those Rocky films. Now, anyone who's seen the marketing for this film has seen that was quite the different case for this film, at least when it came to the marketing. Now, whether or not you consider Rocky's presence in this film to be a spoiler or not is up to you, but I'll just go on to say that based on those trailers that you may or may have not have seen, what you see is what you get, and I'll leave it at that. At times, can be a bit glaring, Rocky's lack of presence in this film here, but the only thing I can surmise is that they wanted to build up the legacy and story of Adonis Creed himself, and not go back to the well of stuff from the Rocky films. Now, while I do think boxing films do make for the best sort of sport movie out of any of the sports out there, they all are pretty predictable. They do have very easy to read story beats, flows, climaxes, and when it comes to those climaxes, they basically write themselves. The Creed films were victims to this also. They did the formula well, but they were still predictable in the story beats that they went through. It was all propped up, though, from some good to great filmmaking from Ryan Coogler and the whole team behind those films, and great performances, obviously, from Michael B. Jordan. I think this film has my favorite story out of all the Creed films, just because how deep it cuts. Unsurprisingly, the movie centralizes on the tension between Creed and his old friend Dame, played by Jonathan Majors. Right from the moment that these two meet up, you can see and feel the history between these two. It only gets better and better as the movie goes on. You really empathize with both characters, which makes for the most conflicts. You see both of their perspectives, why Creed feels the way he does, and definitely why Diamond Dame feels the way that he does. That's the real shit happened between these two in their past that plays on to this day in present time. It doesn't hurt also that Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors are two unbelievable actors who just own every scene they're in. They're really that good. Besides the whole Killmonger versus Kang conflict, the other gimmick that this film was promoting was a directorial debut of Michael B. Jordan. Yes, the same Michael B. Jordan who's starring in this film, so he definitely earned his money for this one, both behind the camera and in front of the camera. I think Michael B. Jordan did a really good job directing here. At first I was worried that the boxing scenes themselves would suffer, but they're still really good, including the ones that he's in. The best boxing scene, though, comes with Diamond Dame's real showcase scene in the ring, where you see and feel every punch and just realize, holy shit, this guy's a fucking monster out there. On a basic directing level, though, he kept true to the tone and feel of the previous films. Not surprising, since he obviously lived, breathed, smelled, and sweat his way through those films, so he knows what's up. But I think his vision for this film was definitely one that worked for me, with the story concept that was developed by Ryan Coogler, who directed the first film. Like the previous two films, though, it's always about, where the heart is, and by that I mean where the emotion is, of the film, and the filmmakers knew where that was, and that's the tense story between these two friends, where you see their beginnings, what went down between them, how it plays in the present day, and it makes for some good conflict that you go throughout the film. The other major story development and heart of the film is seeing Creed transitioning to a family life, and seeing how he adjusts to a life of being a dad of a kid with a disability. If you saw Creed 2, you know what that disability is. It's a heartwarming message to see this play out, as no one really knows how they'll handle, being in this kind of situation with a kid with a disability, but they do it very well here. The only thing that kind of threw me off and that I did not like about it was that the kid that got to play his daughter looks nothing like Michael B. Jordan or Tessa Thompson, but I'm assuming that they got this kid, the one they did, because of her own disability, which if they did, I guess that plays in well into the film. Overall, Creed 3 is a sequel with its priorities in the right place, and another enjoyable chapter in the story of the emotionally triggered boxer. I would go 8.5 out of 10 for Creed 3. I did really enjoy the film, had some really good stuff, great tension between the main characters, great performances. It was another enjoyable chapter. And of course, there still is room for another sequel, and when you see the end of this film, it's easy to see where the next chapter of Creed's life will take him, if and when they choose to do a Creed Part 4. So that'll do it for this review of Creed 3. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching.